Hello all, this is me, Mark Allen. This video will be showing a test flight I did in my backyard, my grandmother's backyard, of my TBS Discovery. Basically like a 450 frame. I have been flying a DJI F550 flame wheel and decided to give this one a try just because I thought maybe I could get better flight times with it. I can get close to 18 minutes using two 3S Turnigy 5,000 milliamp lipos, and I mean, that was nice, but if you watch this video all the way to the end, or if you just look at what it says the time is, you can see I can get 16 minutes, at least 16 minutes, with just one 3-cell pack. So like I said, this is the TBS Discovery. It's got I put the Sunny Sky 22, 16, 800 kV motors on. I have Gym Fan 10 by 4.5 props. They're like neon green. Going to be getting Grosvenor 10 by 5s in the near future. But as you can see in the video, there's not really any jello, so I did balance these props. So made sure I could put them in any position and they balanced. So that works great. As for the GoPro, I only used some foam. I honestly don't remember what was packed in that foam, but it was some computer part. That's all I know. But it was some foam. It's like a medium density. It's not too soft, not hard. So there's two pieces. One, so that the GoPro's back doesn't touch the frame, and one, of course, underneath the GoPro. And the GoPro is secured by rubber bands, 2 rubber bands, which I twisted. I have a 5.8 transmitter on here with a line out to the GoPro. The TBS Discovery has room for 2 cameras. One would be your FPV camera, and then one for your GoPro. For right now, I'm just using the GoPro. I will be getting a TBS 69 in the near future, and a TBS Core. I don't have that installed here either. But I do have my DJI Naza M with GPS. My GPS antenna is mounted right in the center, on the two, like right above the 2 aluminum standoffs that are joining the upper and lower deck together, right there in the middle. In fact, the back of the GPS mount is right over the O, and the front of it is over the Y, covering part of the Y. So it's right there in the middle. My GPS mount broke in a recent crash, and I fixed it by using some old Radio Shack heat shrink, some newer heat shrink, and some 30-minute epoxy. The old Radio Shack heat shrink was the really thick kind that if it did just a little bit too much heat, it would bubble up, but if you didn't do enough heat, it would never shrink. I think they still sell it though. It's some of the crappiest heat shrink ever, but it works great for what I did. I put the heat shrink over the mount and carefully heated it up, and it took a while, but carefully heated it up, got it to fit against that, and of course, it didn't actually shrink enough to fit the antenna hole. It was really close, but wasn't enough to actually fit. So I put some regular heat shrink over the remaining pole that was still there. Slid it in, put some 30-minute epoxy inside the thicker heat shrink. Slid the antenna hole in and let that dry. And before it actually cured all the way, wiggled the antenna mount so that it could have a point where it would still be flexible. And that worked great. So it can still wiggle, but it's stiff enough to where it doesn't move unless you touch it. As far as like my receiver, I'm using a V8 FR2 high voltage receiver from Free Sky. I made my own little antenna mount in the back. It's just some plastic that I heated up, bent it, cut one antenna tube in two, put the antennas 90 degrees to each other. So I got good diversity. I'm also using the DJI 30 amp opto ESCs out. Went ahead and bought 4 of them. I've been using Turnigy Plus 18 amp ESCs flash with BL Heli firmware, and I will continue to use those in the F550. But I've wanted to try out the DJI ESCs, and so far I like them. They work just fine. I don't need anything else, so they work great. I would have ordered more Turnigy Plus, but having to wait for so long from Hobby King, it was just easier to get them from Heli Direct. You order them I order them on a Thursday, and I get them that Saturday. So I'm willing to pay that price, and they're only $20 a piece, so I didn't really care. But that works out nicely. The Discovery is not hard to put together. The soldering just requires a fine tip soldering iron, and I have a Weller 18 amp. It's a Weller WPS 18 MP. Has a light on it. Works just fine. Even soldering on the battery connector wires, which are 12 gauge, they work just fine. Just have to not use the tip. Use the whole angle part of the tip. Transfers more heat. And that worked just fine. So getting back to the video, if you're still here, you're a trooper, and I appreciate it. We're just a little over halfway through. There's still light, and you can still see. Right here, the wind was just blowing, and I had it real close to the ground, so it just kept going, bouncing up and down, up and down. As you can see, it is getting dark. It's remarkably darker than when it took off. And this was my vertical climb out, which I kind of like. It went up pretty fast. If you've seen my DJI crash video, I was about this high when when my flame wheel went careening to the left. It went left, turned around backwards, and then kept going left. Kept just down the block, crashed at the stop sign. And I thought it was because of cold weather, and absolutely not. It was not because of cold weather. It was because I was an idiot and I flashed the ESC firmware and then didn't recalibrate the ESCs with the NASA. So, if you don't recalibrate your ESCs, then they don't know their endpoints. So they don't know when to go full throttle, when not to. So half the motors went full throttle, half didn't. So there you have it. You have a crash. So if you upgrade your firmware on your ESCs, recalibrate them. Otherwise, they will not work. They're not guaranteed to work with your NASA. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But better not to take that chance. As you can see, it's still getting darker. And if you're still here, you're spectacular. Here I am in the frame now, just showing the GPS hold. The wind was blowing, so just the fact that it's pretty much staying in the same general area was spectacular to me. So I was thrilled. It was gaining height, and then it would go back down a little bit. It would kind of go side to side, just slightly. But it was pretty much stay put. Like I said, the wind kept blowing, so it just kept going up and down. And then, it's blowing off of that fence, so it comes back. And so it would just keep going up and down. But, like I said, it's still pretty impressive. On my GPS measurements in the NASA assistant, it's funny because, let's see, which one is it? One of them is a 0 because it's directly in the middle of the frame. So that was kind of nice. I think it's my Y. Yeah, Y is just a 0 because it's directly in the middle. So that was pretty neat. I was just kind of testing the handling a little bit. Some high-speed passes, going forwards and backwards. The light is still dropping, darker and darker. And we just passed the 12-minute mark. So if you're still here, wow, thank you. You actually made it. Wow. Words cannot express how I feel right now for you. You're actually still watching. Thank you. I was just doing a little hovering. Nothing exciting. It was to the point where I'm like, I don't really want to go high because if something was to go wrong, I need to see where it's going. So it kept the flight pretty low. Plus, I wasn't really sure how long the batteries would last, and I knew I had been up in the air for quite some time. So it's been about 13 minutes in the air, so didn't know how long it would last. I had done some flights earlier in the day and then realized that, when I come back in to charge them that the NASA's cutting off a little early and needed to redo the calibration for the batteries. So got that all set up, and now I'm getting like 3-4 extra minutes of flight. And it, like on this one, at the end, if you make it to the end, God bless your soul. At the end, it actually stops. I stopped it because the wind was really starting to kick up, and it pretty much almost knocked it down. I mean, admittedly, I was flying really low to the ground, which I couldn't do with the flame wheel because of the landing gear. But this one, you're practically sitting on the ground. So, I was flying really close to the ground. The wind pretty much knocked it down, and I just shut it off. And it's still at 10.6 volts, so could have kept going for maybe a minute or two longer, but I don't like to, push it. So, the higher your cutoff voltage, the happier your lipos will be. So that worked out great. And I think that's what I'll stick to. 10.6, 10.7. All right, we have passed the 15-minute mark in the video. There's only just over a minute left. And if you made it this far, I hope you can just make it to the end. I mean, you've already come so far, and I really do appreciate it. And if you have made it this far, I hope that you'll give the video a thumbs up. Rate, subscribe, comment. If you don't like the video, comment. Say why. Just be nice. No profanity, please. But, if you don't like it, say why. And I don't take anything personal. So, thanks for watching. And there'll be more videos coming soon. So, like I said, like, subscribe. Please do all those good things, especially if you made it this far, please. Thank you for your time. Happy flying.